I could still plot another minor zones like so. So we should more like have price come into our 13k, bearish pull over to 18k. Then we should be seeing price go back to 116, 117k.
Hey peeps, AdmiralFX right here. Welcome back to our weekly market forecast. So this is our usual weekly market forecast for the 29th of September to the 3rd of August. So this is also the last trading month and the first trading week for September and the first trading week for October. Okay, so without further ado, before we get started, due to our analysis, we see that 80 to 70% of you are yet to subscribe to our channel. So please do well to smash the subscribe button, because this will also help the algorithm to share the videos to other people that are interested in this kind of forex educational content. So without further ado, let's dive into the business of the day. So we are starting off with BTC. For BTC for last week, okay, some weeks ago we had BTC somewhere around in this area, and we were looking for price to break out of these highs or most likely a pullback. Looking left, we can see BTC is on a certain resistance level. Okay, looking left, you can see BTC has been reacting off that my golden yellow zones. Okay, and also why did BTC go bearish? Okay, if you look left too, you can see there's something like a divergence somewhere around here. For those of you that are my mentees or normally join our free sessions with you, who you know what we mean by divergence there. If I pull up my RSI, you are going to see the main chart is going up and the RSI is coming down. Okay, so this was a clear indicator or indication for us to showing us that price would most likely drop, which is what we also use to our trading advantage to taking these sales on BTC, which I also think was a very nice 1 to 3 for us, and price has been bearish all the way to the downside. Okay, so moving forward, so BTC has been bearish the whole of last week. So let's look at how the weekly time frame actually closed, okay, to have a proper knowledge of what we are doing. So here on the weekly time frame, we can see price has been more like indecisive. Okay, price has been ranging here. The drop we had, price go back to this high, and now we had last week close with this massive bullish, bearish engulfing candle, which I have been anticipating for the longest. Okay, for those of you that join our free session, you saw me spoke about this, and a lot of people were also able to make money from showing you guys this on our free live sessions, which we hold once to twice every week on our Telegram community. So if you are not on our Telegram community, click on the link on the description to join our free Telegram community. Okay, so looking at last week here, last week actually closed this massive bearish engulfing candle, and even before then we had a little doji candle here, and this week closing with the bearish engulfing candle here, and that doji candle also formed at the resistance, which was the yellow and golden zone in which you guys saw me plot initially. So this is a very nice indicator for us that BTC would most likely continue bearish. Okay, the most likely the next level target for BTC is somewhere around 100k. Okay, so we are seeing BTC heading all the way to 100k. So you heard it here first. BTC will be dropping all the way to 100k, which would also coincide with this trend line in which we are having coming from all the way down here. Okay, so and also the support and price bouncing off here before we could add a little pullback and maybe more further drops. Okay, so BTC will be bearish for the longest for most likely for the month of October. So let's go back to our lower time frame to see how we can take trading advantage of these drops, okay, in which we are looking for. So here on BTC, all what we need is price. We already have our zones being marked out, which we have been keeping all the way from the longest. You can see we have our daily AOI here, our minor zones here too. So all what we need is most likely like a buy to sell scenario. Okay, so most likely we should be seeing price push up back to 110, 111k, which is this box, somewhere around this box. 110, between 110 111k, which is this zone, and you can wait for your bearish engulfing candle then you can take your sales. The actual drop, we are looking forward for price to go back to 107k, which is these zones. Then you can go as deep as 100k to the downside. Remember, we trade from zones to zones, and we are trading from one zone to the other. And looking at this, we also have a buy signaling, which I've sent already on our free Telegram community. So if you are not there, you are already missing out a lot. Okay, so I've already sent the buy trade, which is going fine so far, into 110k of BTC going to the upside. So what we're actually trading right now is the pullbacks. Okay, we are actually trading the pullbacks, and most likely will be exiting on these zones before price will drop. So that's it for BTC. Up next is XAUSD. So for gold for last week, we saw gold being bullish, just like we anticipated, though we did not have that higher time frame retest, okay, pullbacks just like we wanted. But this is price also went to a round figure target, which was 3,750 ounce. Okay, you can see the arrow right about there, and that zone is the mark. The price is all the way bullish. Okay, so where is the next level target? Let's look at how last week actually closed. So last week actually closed bullish. Let's go back to a 4-hour time frame to look at the minor zones in which you can take this trade from. So looking at here at the 4-hour time frame, this is more like the range. So for me, let's go deeper, like the hourly time frame. Okay, so here on the 1-hour time frame, so what I'm going to do right now is me marking out the zones like so. Let me change that color. So me marking out the zones like so. So since we are seeing BTC most likely going bearish, we don't expect less to happen on gold. Okay, so you heard it here first. So we most likely be having a massive drop on gold. So all what we need is to see price break the 37,442 ounce, a retest on that zone, then you can go as deep as 3665 ounce to the downside. Okay, so just a little bit patience for price to clear this area, creating a lower low, then pull back to these zones. Then you can enter with your candlestick confirmations or whatever trading strategy that you have. Also, if you go to, I think, either your 1 hour, your daily time frame, you can also see this most likely looks like a nice chart pattern for us, which is a double top. So we could have a neckline somewhere around here. That is why we are looking for that break and retest. Okay, so price is, on the higher time frame, before price take significant turnarounds on the market, you most likely have price printing chart patterns on the higher time frame. And it did not just end here. If we look left here at this previous zone, there's a little bit head and shoulder or a divergence to the left here. So I'm more bearish than bullish for next week, and this is how I would be also taking my trading opportunity on gold. Okay, so up next is DXY. So here on DXY, for last week, DXY gave us more like a more bullishness on last week. And also for those of you that watch our videos and also join our free Telegram community, there's something I did post on the general community, which was a cause for concern for me, which I had to tell you guys to look out for, which also really helped us to avoid a lot of losses during last week. Okay, because of this. So I'm going to show you guys. We are going to start from the weekly time frame. Okay, so you can remember these zones and this arrow in which I had circled. Okay, you can remember this arrow which I had circled and this area. Okay, so what did I do there? I'm going to add the before somewhere around in this video so you guys could relate. Okay, what did I do there? We actually saw price closing for last week with this doji candle, and we know what doji candles means. Doji candles actually means reversals, and looking left, this is actually a previous support from last week. So what do we think price is actually doing here? Price now is most likely giving something like a double bottom, okay, or a W chart pattern, which what does this signifies? A reversals, which is break retest and a continuation to the upside. Mind you, this is the DXY, and the DXY is used to gauge the price movement of every pair that has a US dollar. So if we get this right, which we are already getting it right on the DXY, then that means we are very much ahead on over 7 to 8 different USD pairs in which we are going to trade during this month, okay, on the coming month. So remember, this week also we are also having NFP. Okay, we are also having NFP, so it will also be a good one for us. It's the NFP release would also be a deciding factor on which directional bias in which price would be heading to for the coming weeks. Okay, so you can see last week actually closed with this doji candle, and it did not just end there. Just like I said, I was expecting a bullish close. So that's why if we're seeing price not go so much bullish. So what does this mean for pairs that are actually directly correlated with the DXY? We had a lot of bullishness on them, like USDJPY, USDCHF, USD and pairs that are inversely correlated with the DXY, like the USDJP, like the Euro USD, GDP USD, and so on and so forth, were bearish as for last week. Okay, so let's go back to our 4 hour time frame to look at zones or areas, minor areas in which we will take trading opportunities. So currently now on the 4 hour time frame, so all what we need is price to sell into this area, which looks like price has done that, and we should be seeing price go back to 100% retracement level, which is the $98 or 98 points. Then should be targeting all the way to a 99.99 all the way to the upside. If that does not play out, I have another minor zone. Okay, I'm going to mark these minor zones like so. That also looks like an order block right about there. So I'll look for price to pull back into these zones. Okay, of the 97 points. Okay, then we could go have some bullishness to 100% retracement level, which is back to these zones. Then we could go all the way to a $99 all the way to the upside. So that's it for the DXY. Please do well to mark out these zones on your chart or your trading device. It's very important because this is going to help you as a deciding factor moving forward. So I am the first to show you guys and tell you guys that we are most likely having the dollar being bullish. Okay, we are most likely having strength back on the dollar, and if this happens, we should be trading the opposite on pairs like GDP USD and EU. Okay, so that's it for DXY. Up next is Euro US. So here on Euro USD, without taking much of your time, so we go to the weekly time frame to see how last week actually closed. Okay, so here on the weekly time frame, how last week actually closed, we saw price a little bit rangy. If you pull out your indicator, you see this will look most likely like a divergence. Let's check if that will give us, so you can see that's going to give us most likely like a divergence. So we're on course amongst all this space. We're very much on the right track. Okay, so we had last week close with this bullish candle, previous week close with this doji candle again, signifying, or a hammer candle like you guys will call it, signifying sellers taking over the market. Okay, so we may be having more bearishness on Euro USD. So let's go to the 4 hour time frame to look for the minor areas to trade from. Okay, so here on the 4 hour time frame, we already have our zones. Remember, this is our daily AOI, so I'll still keep it somewhere around there. Okay, we have our daily AOI, which is this zone. So all what we need for next week is price to come into these areas. Okay, these are daily area of interest, which you can see multiple week rejections from previous times. Price to bounce off this area, then you could have price drop all the way to 1.15970, which is this zone. Okay, so what you should be seeing is a buy to sell scenarios on Euro USD. So that'll be it for Euro USD. Up next is GDP USD. Okay, so for GDP USD for last week, you can see we had all of this drop on the GDP USD. Like I said, last week was a bearish week for Euro USD and GDP USD. So a lot of people were also able to take advantage of this, for my mentees that understand our trading strategy. So moving forward, so let's go to the weekly time frame to see how price actually closed for last week. So here on the weekly time frame, we can see, all right, so let me zoom out so you guys could see. Okay, so here on the weekly time frame, we can see that last week closed with this bearish candle, and the previous week also closed with another bearish candle. Okay, so this signifies more bearishness for the coming weeks. And also, if you look deep into these zones, okay, this area in which I'm circling, also see that this looks like a very nice chart pattern. Okay, for those of you that understand chart patterns, you agree with me that this is a very nice head and shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to keep that. So you agree with me that this is a very nice head and shoulders. So what does this mean? So all what you just need, okay, no gimmicks, easy busy. We already have our zones here. So all what you just need, break with this and a push continuations to our next support, which is the 1.316 to the downside. Okay, so this is it on the bigger picture. Mind you, this is the weekly time frame, but we are going to go right to the 4-hour time frame, which is our minor areas to look for zones in which we can make sense out of this. Okay, so let me modify that. So here on the 4-hour time frame, where is the best minor zone? So currently price is actually seated here. Okay, price is actually seated here. Okay, so we could have price pullbacks to here and a drop. Okay, price drop into that zone right about there. Or I'm going to mark out a new zone. Okay, I'm going to mark out a new zone like so. Yeah, like so. So all what I would love to see is a little bit more pullback. Okay, like a buy to sell scenarios. Okay, price will pull back to this 1.345 to the upside, then we could have price drop all the way to 1.31855 to the downside. This is over. I think this should be over 200 pips drop. Okay, 250 pips drop plus. Okay, if that does not play out, we should also be seeing price could just start, because mind you, this is also an area of interest, mind you, a daily area of interest, so price could just start dropping from here. So all what you can still do is break every test here on these zones, and price may start dropping from there, which is the 1.3179. Okay, so that's it for GDP USD. The last but not the least, USDJPY. So for USDJPY, so let's look at the weekly time frame, how price closed. Okay, so you can see here for USDJPY for last week, price closed with this bullish engulfing candle, and the week before we also had a very nice doji candle close there for the week before. So this also signifies price potential bullishness continuations. Okay, so our next level targets for USDJPY here on the weekly time frame could be all the way up this resistance. Okay, let me use a proper line. Okay, we could be seeing price go to 157 all the way to the upside. Okay, but our first target 151, then we are going all the way to 157. But let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, where is our best level target? Okay, so I'm going to plot newer zones. Okay, I'm going to plot newer zones like so. So all what you need to see price do is a sell to buy scenarios. Price pulling back to the zones of the 1.148, okay, the 148.6. Then we should see price come back to 100% retracement level. 100% retracement level is here, which is the 149. Okay, 149. Then we could go all the way to 150 and 101. So what are we looking for? Sell to buy scenarios for GDP USD. You can always use your trading strategy or use mine to always take this kind of trades. Okay. Up next is USDCHF. So USDCHF looking good, looking all good. Okay, here on the weekly time frame, we can see how USDCHF is the only pay that is late to start its own bullishness. So that's why I'm also analyzing USDCHF, because you can take a better trade call from USDCHF. Okay, so you see the last week, 2 weeks ago, we had that doji candle. Last week we had this bullish candle. So price is showing us directional bias to the upsides. Okay, so let's go back to the 4-hour time frame to see what price is doing there. Okay, so here on the 4-hour time frame, we have price somewhere around in these zones. Okay, so all what we need to see price do is more like sell to buy scenarios. Okay, it may be a little bit pullbacks, Okay, a little bit pullback to that zones, then price continuations to the upside, which is 0.805 to the upside. Okay, so that will be it on USDCHF, and that will be it for this week, guys. Do well to smash that subscribe button, like, share, and drop a comment. Let's know your thought process and how our trading analysis have been helpful to you so far, and what you're expecting for the coming weeks. Okay, so always remember to trade your plan and plan your trade. See you guys on the inner circle. Cheers.